Here we are. This is my little soldering station. And I'll just put the camera here. And I'm going to go on the chat on my computer. Hopefully you can hear me. Ooh. I just really burnt the shit out of my finger, so that sucks. But here, maybe I'll connect some a little bit more in the frame. Oops. Yeah, okay, cool. So let me just go on the chat. Okay, cool. So I'm in the chat room. I'm just gonna play I'm gonna play that Seriously Wrong podcast again, because I like that a lot. And yeah. Bit of a different idea this time. Hopefully it'll be fun. Anyways. Try to make it so you can hear this and I can work at the same time. Can you hear me okay? Well, I don't think there's anyone here. Okay. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Ah, okay, yeah, you can hear me fine. Cool. So let me put on the podcast, and then I'm gonna go at people on. You know what? Okay. Anyways, just watching.
Is it recording? Warning. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul.
We now go live to the Town Maximum Security Correctional Facility, where grumpy, amoral prison warden takes out his personal issues unfairly on the prisoners.
So this is what I'm working on.
Where am I? The wrong town bird sanctuary?
Touchpad,
Bunch of no good
just a bunch of
fucking
knobs.
weasels. Get back in your cold, uncaring
And
cage. Why don't you go use your toilet, which has no seat?
yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but whatever.
Hey, you. Hey, Ed Gein. I'm talking to you. You scum. Now go to your cold hole. Oh, your sheets are dirty? You want a replacement sheet? Oh, poor little scumbag. No, denied.
At that moment, a giant wrecking ball knocked a hole in the wall of the prison, revealing two boyish figures.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Intruder what alert. What con swallop is going on here? Who are you boyish figures? Identify yourselves. This isn't right. Now you show yourselves. This isn't a game. Warden, according to the Brand Center for Justice.
Just don't know how, like, it's a MIDI device. It'll be a MIDI controller. Just don't know how, like, permanent I want to make it because it's just a bunch of fucking knobs. It's not that cool. This is one of the other ones I'm working on. It's like, I made this capacitive touchpad, which is kind of fun. And then there's just a resistive touchpad. And then I'm not really sure what else to put, but I think like a couple more items, and then this will be cool. I have really high hopes for this, because capacitive touch is really cool. It's like really... I haven't been able to find any that are like, in a nice form factor. Like any that are kind of made for the maker community or whatever. So I figured like just having one resistive touchpad and then like this capacitive thing, because this is only singular touch, and then this one's multi-touch, and there's also sort of like pressure, sort of. Yeah. So yeah. But this is more of a programming problem. That's why I'm not working on this one today. Yeah. The point of what all the steps that I'm trying to do is like to get away from knobs and faders and stuff. I'm trying to figure out ways of doing more dimensions of control, but this one was just sort of like, everybody needs a bunch of knobs. So I figured I'd just it's more of a utilitarian project than a thing I really want to do. But, and then at the same time I just figured, I don't know if I want to make it permanent, because I kind of would like to reuse some of these bits. Maybe in a later project. It's kind of, I don't want to spend too much money on this stuff. I like the idea of DIY and shit, so yeah, I don't know. Woulg's talking about knobs. Yeah, I just can't get enough of like playing with my knobs, touching my knobs. It's all about knobs here. This is the knob channel. What does that say? I don't know. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read it on this. I don't know if I already told you about, but I've got friends who are doing live shows only with faders. Max Map is transforming the journey of the fader. Journey of the fader in some MIDI triggers, which can be translated in MIDI notes, and then drum rack of simpler or whatever. Cool. Yeah, sweet. That's like the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do, but that's a cool idea. I like those things of like kind of going to the extreme of it or whatever. Anyways,
My finger.
here's the podcast.
This is a major crime. Like a jailbreak is a major crime.
Yeah,
I don't need to tell you.
definitely.
Okay, hold on.
Stats. We're working really hard to just try to get the point. I feel bad that most prisons, none of these go out of reach.
Here's the wall. Let's get him.
Trying to see where.
I just tie this around here.
Make sure you tie that so it doesn't hurt him.
Oh, sorry, Warden. Just because he's a dehumanizing warden doesn't mean he doesn't deserve some basic respect when we done with the detain.
Just here's the wall.
Just lock you onto that.
Alright, so I'm just gonna reach under your belt and grab these keys off. Open up this gate. And there, we're an honorable politician.
We're the Virtue Boys. We try to save political prisoners every week. You can support us on Patreon or PayPal. You've heard it before. My alter ego, Sean.
My alter ego's Aaron.
The Virtue Boys.
So who here is a non-violent drug offender? I'm gonna let you all out.
Okay,
That's
yeah. 1 in 4. None of these people are lying, right? Oh no, they're all telling the truth. Okay, perfect.
We'll just open up all those cages.
And to all of you who serve your time, you shouldn't be in prison for whatever reason. There's lots of reasons. We're working on it. We got to start with just the most basic stuff today: non-violent drug
Okay,
offenses.
hold on. I'm gonna not
Place to
turn
start.
this off.
I feel bad that Warden's still gagged and bound over there. Maybe we should try to get through to them.
Yeah,
We need him
no,
outside
definitely.
ultimately,
Yeah.
even if he's misguided. Hey, Warden,
Okay.
I'm just gonna take this off. I don't want you to say anything, okay? Just be quiet for a second. Okay, Warden, we've given you a lot of stats. We're working really hard to just try to get the point through your thick head here. What do you have to say for yourself? It is how it is.
I totally understand why you would think that, Warden, but think about this. It isn't how it is.
Huh? Okay, I'm gonna put this back over your mouth, and I'll just let that seed sort of percolate. Oh, one thing before we go. Here, let's go to the control room. Just please leave this door.
Oh, you got planned for the control room?
Oh, just a little.
Surprise.
Yeah, I was just
Surprise.
thinking. Here, but just pop out the emergency tape here. It's annoying.
Yeah, it was getting annoying. Trying for a long time.
Just put this tape in for my personal connection, and I'll push the play button with my finger. Let's get the fuck out of here, though, because this is a major crime. Like, a jailbreak is a major crime. I don't need to tell you.
Definitely.
Come with us, one good politician, not son of a geek. Let's go.
Let's go right away, go somewhere today. Let's
Hey, Bronco.
be together and stay. Let's go together today, right away.
Quantum
Let's
sequencer.
be together today. Together's the way I like the best. I like to be with you. I like the things you explain to me, the things
Okay.
you show me to do. Let's go
now-
right away, go somewhere today. Let's be together today.
Hello and welcome to Wrongtown News Radio Hour. I'm your host, Newsy McHostison. Today's top story, high-profile prison break. Early yesterday morning, it has been confirmed by the Beach of Chalif that two boyish men wearing tight clothes broke down a wall.
The boyish figures then proceeded to teach the prisoners about the prison abolition movement and break out the son of the notorious serial killer, Ed Gein.
The Beach of Chalif has requested calm, saying everything is under control, it's normal for this to happen, keep shopping.
In other news, the Wrongtown shopping center has descended into chaos as the citizens of our once peaceful town
This? You thought that was a
they cannot
microphone?
get along and
Nice.
work together.
The fighting started late last night at Wrongtown
Okay.
Mall at Rich Friel's 1% deals.
And I'll just take the last gold-plated boat, please.
Excuse me.
Yes,
You were
excused.
going to take the last gold boat? I already had my hand on it.
You were just feeling it, and I've already got my credit card out, so...
Excuse
Mr.
me,
Reels,
sir.
Mr. Reels, just swipe this
Mr. Reels,
through, please.
we're going to need some conflict resolution here, Mr. Reels, because
Conflict
this is
resolution.
the last gold-plated boat, sir.
They'll order more in.
I'm trying to speak to Rich Reels, so know your place.
My place.
Your place.
My place is above you, sir.
No, your place is below me, sir. Now,
Above.
he's probably
Let's
not
physically
even
fight
good
about
for the money. Here, let me change it to my
Physically
combat
fight about
monocle.
it.
You're a fucking disgusting piece of scum under my shoe.
You aren't fit to kiss the bottom of my shoes. They're so fancy and expensive.
I'll kiss what I like.
Roll up my sleeves.
Nice.
Maybe I'll keep my sleeves down, you scumbag.
A slob like you would.
Take that. Yeah. Don't stop that.
Oh, you think I
Shit,
should
did I just
stop
hit
that?
them
All right,
backwards?
I'll
No,
stop
they're
that.
two different
No.
segments, you bastard. I'll get you.
Horrifying stuff.
Now we've got a socio-psycho-lingual expert to find her findings on how this division has spread. Hannah, are you there?
Hi, Mr. Newsy. Thanks for having me on.
It's my pleasure.
So we've been studying this phenomenon as it's rippled out to the edges of Wrongtown. And what we found is that they see these rich people fighting and say, if rich people physically fight about their verbal problems, maybe we should all physically fight about our verbal problems and we'll become rich too. It's an easy mistake to make, and it's deadly.
Shocking and incredible insight. Thank you so much for being on, Hannah.
It is absolute chaos. The citizens of Wrongtown are buzzing around, flying, stinging each other like a bunch of swarming, murderous beans.
What device from that? Oh, I see.
Bees?
Bees? I'm talking about black and yellow striped
Oh, no.
flying beans. They sting you.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Bronco, no, I'm not making that thing. I'm making my own thing.
The situation here in Wrongtown's getting pretty fucking dire.
Yeah, things are
Street
deteriorating
fighting and
rapidly.
It used to be that you would walk down the streets of Wrongtown, you wave to the mailman, you wave to the milkman, get a malt at the end of the day. It was a calm place, there was no street violence.
The worst you get is someone tipping their hat at you in the street. And when I say worst, it's best, because it's nice to have the hat tipped at you.
But now the worst thing that happens to you when you walk down the street is, instead of tipping their hats, they throw a fist.
Yeah, we gotta get the throws back to tips, and the fists back to hats.
Even if we could downgrade to throwing hats, that's a step up from where we're at.
Definitely.
Or tipping a fist.
Yeah, they could be like a new Wrongtown friendly greeting, a tip of the fist.
Tip of the fist, do ya?
Yeah, these are some great ideas.
You know, I think the guy to do this, he ran on a platform of togetherness.
Yeah.
He's our uncle's son, of course, talking about the one good politician of Wrongtown, a great man.
Tragically lied about by us.
And sent to prison.
Sent to prison.
We should probably apologize to him.
Yeah. Knock on the door.
Hey, one good-hearted politician.
We wanted to say hi and just, apologize for what we did to you.
I'm so sorry for the lies and the slander. You're not Ed Gein's son. It has nothing to do with your plan for a high-speed train, to increase the welfare rate, to reform the prison system. I mean, these are things I support.
These devices just turn into such a fucking
lie about you. I'm so sorry.
harassment.
They lied to us too. We didn't know.
Everything's falling apart.
We want to be
because of
different.
us.
We want to do things right. We want to
1,
redeem ourselves. We're so sorry. So sorry.
Do you forgive us?
You need a little while to think about it, or...
Do you want an omelet? Sean is gonna make omelets.
Yeah, I was gonna make some omelets.
You must have time.
It's next time, yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go make omelets for you. So I remember when you suggested togetherness as a subject,
Yeah, it's kind of a wrap up for the season.
the beauty of such a broad concept that is, in one hand, kind of trite or like silly,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, like when you think about it, is like a really profound and important concept.
Yeah, I think that banal, profound connection is really interesting. And we were like, oh, we should start heading towards something and pull all these threads that we've been doing together. It's like, oh, you also bring ideas together, you can bring people together, you can bring society together, you can like work together to do something. If you're like out of sorts, you pull yourself together and get going on things. Like it just, in every area that you apply it, if you think about what applying it means in terms of concrete actions, it's a really powerful concept.
Just listening to all the different ways that togetherness can be applied, it's really striking what diversity there is under the metaphor of togetherness.
And it's interesting to think about like, what actually connects all those things. Like, what does pulling yourself together have to do with working together with others?
Okay.
Have to do with coming together as a society? Like, those are three like very, very different ideas, but yet we use the same word for it because there's some like heart of it.
What we need to do is take all the different togethers out there, and then what we need to do is bring those togethers together.
Whatever the heart of it is, like that's kind of a fun thing to point your brain at, but it's really something that I don't think could be articulated properly. But what you kind of can articulate is like, when you invoke this idea of togetherness, what kind of actions do you envision yourself taking?
I do really
this podcast that I like called Seriously
we're
Wrong.
All in this together, and we need to work together to solve the problems that affect us all.
All in this together is a physical fact of like we're all on this one planet that is only so big.
It's also a physical fact in that we share systems for evaluating the world and collaborating, and our capacity to communicate with each other on a different level than anything else we've ever experienced anywhere in nature other than other human beings.
Yeah.
You can teach any person on Earth French, you can teach any person on Earth English. We all see colors, most of us, but all these commonalities, like, that's a physical togetherness that is reality.
Yeah, right, and communication, and like maybe that actually is one of the commonalities, or the commonality. Like you can't work on something together without being able to communicate properly and like understand each other, and you can't bring the world together, whatever that means, without having global communication and understanding. You can't put yourself together unless you're being honest with yourself and like you're honestly communicating who you are to other people and like listening to other people.
A romantic relationship where you're not able to communicate with each other is like a death sentence.
Yeah, you're not going to stay together.
That's a person you need to talk to. But it's the same with, I guess, any group, right? Or any togetherness that forms is reliant on the coherence of conversation and the capacity to share perspectives with one another. It's something that I fluctuate on. It's not something that's easy to do, but the ability to have that English to English communication. Because when we're talking about division in communication, what obviously comes to mind is like the shibboleths of political culture right now, where people are speaking in these completely different vocabularies. For example, our favorite definition wobble is the word liberal, which means something bad to pretty much everyone, but it means totally different bad things depending on who you're talking to, except to several groups of people that call themselves liberals in different ways. In a political context, if we can't speak to each other and be heard and be understood, then we're really fucked.
It reminds me of something that we talked about in the very first episode, the ideological babblefish. Because you just mentioned English to English communications, and there's like this idea of a universal ideological translator.
Yeah, the ideological battlefish, I love that idea. I mean, and that's 4 years ago that we made that sketch, 4 and a bit.
Yeah.
But I think that was a good insight. Communication and peace are related.
Yeah, when you have people together in one physical space, you can either learn to communicate with each other or you start fighting each other. Unless you all already think the same thing anyway.
There's a concept for when you're not literate yourself, but you know someone who's literate who can read for you. It's like a second step literacy. And I want to like take that concept and then apply it to English communication. Like we should all make sure that every community has one degree of separation.
From someone who's, fluent in various ideologies.
Because it's unrealistic to expect that everyone's going to become fluent in every fucking absurd existing ideology you run into.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I think some of the effort that I took to understand the different varieties and flavors of far-right politics was some of the worst wasted time of my entire life. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone else, to discover the things that I discovered.
But now that you have it, maybe there's some way to use it to be a peacemaker and bring them together with the normal people a little bit more.
This is just sort of a tactic for togetherness looking forward. It's like, when you're talking about not being able to communicate with your neighbors, I've heard like fascists say that.
Right, like a sort of social breakdown being a problem.
Yeah, there would be tension that exists from having people in your country that don't speak your language.
Right. It's interesting because it speaks to like a value similarity, like they're valuing communication in this way we're talking about, but they're taking what could be a minor surmountable thing and like blowing it up into a way worse thing. Like instead of making it better, making the level of disconnect.
Yeah, instead of trying to bridge the gap by looking like what tools do I have available.
I was just thinking about this in terms of like nested together. Like they have this togetherness thing right, but it's a togetherness based on division rather than togetherness is all the way down.
I know what the inequality there is that someone who lives in Canada and speaks primarily like Cantonese, they have people in their lives that make them functionally fluent in English when it matters in limited context. They know people like in their families or whatever.
Right.
But if you're an English speaker in Canada, the chances of you knowing someone who's an intermediary that can speak Cantonese on your behalf, that can translate Cantonese for you, is really low.
Right.
So if you want to, here's my back of the envelope togetherness theory, is that we need to get people who have racial anxiety. They need people in their life that can translate on their behalf. If they're not willing to learn more languages to be able to communicate with more people, then they should strive to have a network that includes someone who can. And I think that's a really beautiful and important idea for bringing people together.
Okay.
And just generally, I mean, I really respect and admire people who speak more than one language, and I think we should sort of revere them socially and collect them prizes.
Yeah, well, I would like to speak more languages, but I'm not willing to prioritize it, so get those Star Trek Universal Translators. Man, they meet aliens, and they all just sound like they're speaking English. You know, like, they never have to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm in a superposition of building a quantum computer and not building a quantum computer.
Oh, is your beeper going off?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
really
it
loud.
says Amber Alert, an emergency message from the Xenon group.
Oh, no. TV on. To the right channel.
Let's see.
Oh, just a little bit of Friends? No,
We don't miss the beginning.
Welcome to the Xenon group.
Xenon group.
Welcome to the Xenon group tape. Emergency Amber Announcement
Announcement.
for Wrongtown.
Together.
Wrongtown needs togetherfulness.
Togetherness.
Togetherfulness.
Togetherness.
Because without togetherness, Wrongtown becomes apartful.
Apartful.
And what's apartful can never last.
Can never last.
So we have to bring it together with Xenon Group. Togetherful.
I love
I
their
am
sketches.
the grandson of Chester Xenon, the founder of Xenon Group. And this is my uncle's son.
And we're here to unveil a brand new policy.
So as many of you probably already know, my grandfather, Chester Xenon, pioneered a new historical science, which has been proven right time and time again.
History moves.
Shit, I think I might be able to actually fit this back in the cage. Like I always wanted to.
Is private thoughts about division. This just means thinking mean things about other people, thinking that you wish they weren't there. Step 2 is divisive words and actions.
Like,
Yeah,
for
there's no
example,
word.
letting a door close behind you, sort of a passive, divisive action.
Step 3, those actions turn into violent, divisive actions. And that's what we've seen spreading like wildfire through Wrongtown.
Look, my grandfather predicted this. It moves like clockwork, and I hate to tell you what step 4 is. Genocide. Possibly the worst genocide that we've ever seen.
The science of the historical progression has been proved, and it lends support to the science of the two-step process that my uncle's father, otherwise known as my grandfather, developed. So step 1 is to control the thoughts at the source. Now, for a long time, the Xenon Group has made available our patented thinking caps.
Yeah, so we reached out to our friends at Wrongtown. We've got a really exciting public-private partnership. The state is going to be fully subsidizing thinking caps, and we can offer them on a sliding scale based on income. At the lowest income, absolutely free.
So agents will be coming to your house. If they don't match your fashion, we do have implants.
Oh,
If
shit.
you don't like the look
Oh,
of the
fuck.
thinking cap, I don't know why you wouldn't. They're very stylish.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety there, and this is absolutely free hats.
And once you have the thinking cap on, you won't have any more negative thoughts.
We like to trim those, a little haircut.
Trim those, and that makes people togetherful again. We were togetherful once in the great past, and we're going to bring us back around to togetherful again. And step 2 of the process, mandatory drugs to stop the negative emotions. That's pretty self-explanatory.
And
Okay.
again, free or low cost.
We say rich people can afford to pay a little bit more, but the poor people will get them for free.
This is just good social policies. The rich can afford to pay a little more for their mandatory brain drugs.
Yeah, we're so excited to bring everyone together, all thinking the same things, saying the same things, kind of moving in unison in a sort of sci-fi dystopian,
Sort of utopian.
utopian
Yeah, utopian is
future
a good
where
one.
we all make even the same motions at the same time. We
Oh,
kind of
what
all
beautiful. It'd be like synchronized swimming down
Yeah.
the streets. Everyone stepping all in unison and speaking in one voice. People say nothing can change. We at Xenon Group, we think a little differently. We think that a better world is possible. Thank you so much for watching. And I think we've just got a quick take here. This is the Xenon Group corporate comedian.
he really brings the point home. Makes
Yeah.
it humorous. I always chuckle.
Okay, yeah, I took that
Disaffected
over.
Youth really loves the corporate comedian, so just pop this into the tape player.
Make sure all this is plugged in.
All plugged? Is it all plugged?
And it is plugged. Thanks for asking.
The text is faded.
Oh, I can tell it's the play button.
So let's record.
Yeah, you don't want to record over the tape of the
Oh
comedian.
yeah, but no thanks. Now to push the right button.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Xenon Group for sponsoring tonight's event. So the other day I was thinking to myself, this is a true story, no word of a lie. I was thinking to myself, maybe I won't support the government. Just kidding, folks. What do I look like, a lunatic? Of course I support the government, folks. I was dating a girl, I met her from web-based dating. Don't tell my parents, folks. I'm serious. Web-based. She told me she doesn't support corporations. I'm serious, folks. This maniac
said it.
By the way, everyone, tonight we had a lot of fun. But if you find the son of Egin, kill him. He said it. Thank you.
Sorry, I know this is maybe not the most entertaining stream, but
Hilarious stuff.
you know.
Oh, it kills me every time. Kills me every time. That's amazing stuff.
But yeah, no, seriously, you will
Cool.
be pardoned if you kill that man. It's totally allowed.
Yes, that's part of the agreement.
And on with the show.
Wonder if it'll work.
And now, back to the On with the Show. at
We haven't even
the
tested it.
Town Diner, where wrestler,
I don't wanna do that.
actors,
Okay.
and politician
Do that later.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson meets with his friend.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Wrong Town Man.
And I'll be right back.
For taking me out to dinner. It is just so nice to be here. It's so nice to see you.
Well, it's great to be here with you, friend. I'm so happy you've recovered.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say that you've been such a positive male role model in my life. You've taught me how to keep my sexual comments to where they're appropriate. You've taught me what it means to be a friend. You've taught me
Yes.
everything I know, basically, except how to deliver the mail. I knew how to do that quite well.
I gotta say, Emma, you're making me blush. I'm just so proud to see your development over time. The only thing I can compare it to is the development of Fast Five from script to screen. The fabric of it was so amazing from the start, and then to see it shaped by skillful hands into just, you're one of the best people I've ever met. And I've starred in some fantastic movies. Who could forget Disney's Mona? But also my newest film, which is in theaters this Friday, Rampage. Sorry, I'm doing it again. You've heard this before. You're my best friend.
Yeah.
Seeing your development and being sort of your woke big bro who brings you through.
I'll just take the plate there, if you don't mind.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
Is this all together or apart? Well, we're definitely together. He's my best friend, and we're together friends till the end. But I think we probably will get two separate checks.
No, stop. Man, you just recovered from a long illness. You've been off work.
Yeah.
Let me get this. We'll get it together, please. This is one of my best friends in the world.
Well, thank you. That is so
Oh,
kind.
don't think anything of it. I'm a millionaire actor. I can afford to pay a little extra.
Elsewhere, in the same cafe, Bread Genius and Egg Genius meet to discuss their relationship. Egg Genius.
Hey, Bread Genius. So, I guess you're wondering why I wanted to meet her. Maybe you know.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't been home, and I feel like I got a sense for where this is headed.
Yeah. I don't see us having a future together anymore, and I think I'd like to have a divorce. You know, right now we're French toast, we're egg and bread all mixed together.
Yeah.
I think it's time to peel that apart, and maybe you can get into a nice sandwich, and maybe I'll become a meringue, find a nice lemon slice.
I'm so sorry I lied to you all through our relationship and had all those children by other fathers. It wasn't right for me to lie to you about that. You know, you're ending the marriage now, but I think I really ended it when I took those actions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't do enough. I saw this coming a long time ago. We were drifting apart. And I cheated on you a couple times.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
I was pretty sure you were cheating on me, and I was really resentful, and I was just like, fuck it, cheat on her.
And thank you for being honest with me. It's funny, like now we're being honest with each
Yeah,
other.
all of a sudden
at
it's
the
like
end.
the windows open, and we're breathing this air of honesty because we just no longer have to go home together, and it's like something sort of cathartic about just being able to like, just sort of get it out and be really matter of fact.
And will you two be together or separate?
We're separate.
Yeah, separate.
But in a sense, we are together. I mean, we're obviously together here in this booth, but our lives are entwined forever.
So
we share a child, and
we've shared many years together.
But yeah, sorry, I had two bills.
Oh yeah, I wanted to watch that thing that.
In the third booth on the other side of the restaurant, Felix Bones and his nemesis Trep.
Yeah, this podcast is really funny. I really like it. One sec. Just gonna watch the thing that Romanowicz posted. This is sick. Hermit Lobby has such sick, like, wonky beats. I didn't know you were friends with them, Romanowicz. That's cool. Or I don't even know if Romanowicz is still here, but anyways, cool. Back to the podcast.
Discuss some very
I'm
important.
gonna try and I'm gonna
super happy to have you
go
here
look
with
for
me
this
today.
fan that I think I have in
Today
a box over there.
about the Xenon
But I'll be
Group.
back in a second.
But first, before we get into that, I just want to talk about how Wrongtown Diner is one of the best restaurants I've ever been in. Now, this is a place that they get you grits, bacon, everything in between. They'll refill your coffee as many times as you want. And it's got the nicest staff. It's incredible. And I just wanted to give a quick
I'm just
shout
going
out
over
for
here.
hosting us today. All right,
I think
so
there's
the
a
reason that we're both here today is to
I
talk
think
about
there's a
people
fan in
who
here
are
somewhere.
able to control our minds and control our children and poison our water supply. Yeah, well, they were some of the nicest guys that ever ran at the time, Trevor.
So nice.
Yeah, all right, well, okay, have your fun, but we're united here in an alliance because we need to work together on this.
We're gonna take them down because you need your show back on the air, and I need to make fun of you on the air.
I couldn't agree more. Now, these are monsters. They're probably Satanists, demons.
Yeah, not just moneyed interests.
No, I mean, you're making a point there, but why do you have to do it in such a way?
Maybe because everything you say is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor.
Oh, wait, here we go, yeah.
Yes, I mean,
Stuff in.
come together around common interests for greater good. But I'm a human being, Trevor.
Oh, are you?
I'm a human being, Trevor. My life
Wait,
is
do I have
valuable
more
and to be
stuff
treated
in
with
here?
respect and dignity.
Oh.
I need to feel like I have a seat
Sorry,
at
I
the
just
table.
found like a little
This has value.
box of a bunch of random old. So this is what I found so far. Some heat shrink, some resistors, and some more wires. That's good. And then this is an old controller that I made that does like tilt sensing. And by controller that I made, I mean like I attach these two components. And then there's kind of nothing interesting in here. Wait, maybe this is...
That's how you shake a goddamn hand. And those fucking monsters.
Where is it? Oh, it's the okay.
We're gonna take them on together.
Yeah, I should use this. I wonder if I can get it to work. Oh. Okay, Arduino Nano. That could be good. Oh, yeah, I want to choose these. I don't think I need any of this other stuff. Oh, this is a good MOSFET. Oops. Oh, whatever. Okay. Okay, not what I was looking for, but still cool. Sorry, I can't read the chat right now. It's like the camera's facing the other way. Oops. What does it say? Okay. Peel apart the French toast. Yeah, yeah. One of my fans is in this box. I keep him in my lab. Yeah, there's this kind of big looking. This is what I was looking for. I hope I didn't burn this out already, but let's give it a try.
in 2009 in private before you realized the ramifications of the Facebook platform. Thank you.
Now, back to the show.
Can still kind of
There's
see.
this kind of like trope
Okay, good.
that humanity is so divided against itself, but if we were faced with an external threat like an alien invasion, something just insurmountably large and horrible, that we all need to work together to defeat it.
Yeah, crises are when people who couldn't have worked together before will, figure it the fuck out because we got it.
I always sort of see that invoked to say, like, let's wait, things will get bad, and people will rise up.
I also see it invoked as like a hopelessness thing. Like, human beings won't work together until we have some
Oh shit, this is supposed to work at 120 volts.
Groups only come together in relationship to
Jesus
opposition.
Christ.
Yeah, there's like this fatalistic kind of...
Okay, I'm not fucking around
have
with
this inherent antagonistic
wall
quality that if we don't have someone
power.
outside of us to fight, we'll fight amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess there might be some legitimacy to it, that at the very least our inherited culture for a very long time seems to have involved varying but sometimes severe degrees of violence.
No, I think there's a lot of truth to it, actually, but that thing that we're all together against, like, it doesn't have to be another group of beings. It can be, like, this state of disarray and horror that exists.
Yeah, well, we do have that crisis. We've got a significant amount of people in slavery right now. Don't have the numbers in front of me, look it up. They're slaves.
Yeah.
We didn't get rid of them. I mean, slavery still exists, and we're also facing an environmental crisis, a financial crisis, increasing inequality, perpetual war. We're so surrounded by all of this, like, untenable shit going on around us all the time. Like,
3
our
to
eyes, like,
6
twitching,
volt
or, like,
motor.
that's fucking, this isn't gonna work in the long term. Like, from a design perspective, spaceship Earth is fucking veering out of control in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, it's a kind of conceptual leap that you're asking people to make in doing that. Like, you're saying, I'm noticing all these things that are wrong around me, and it's those people's fault, so I'm against those people, the people who think differently than me, the people who look differently. Like, however you other people, then the people that I've othered, it's their fault that everything's wrong, and let's rise up against them to say, no, the thing that is the other, the thing that we're against together is the existence of these social ills, the existence of this inequality, the existence of this state of less than optimal existence for so many people on the planet right now. Like, that's the thing that's the enemy. It's not the other people.
I think that analytical leap isn't too much to ask. There's a ton of advantages to shifting your thinking. The hatred of human beings and blaming of human beings, and then look at the reality that the crises and problems that we need to unite against and destroy together are not caused by any one individual. There's no King Poverty who's like, I make poverty happen, and if you assassinate me or put me in jail, poverty will disappear. There's a zillion people across the world who have little tiny slices of King Poverty in them. King Poverty is something that we carry within us.
What am I
like,
doing?
just being
I'm
in the
gonna
first world, it's like you
make
carry a
these
tiny
smaller
bit of
so I
King
can put
Poverty.
them away.
It's not tenable to kill anyone who's contaminated by King Poverty.
And, like, in a lot of ways, it's a very freeing framework, because it's like, okay, we're not blaming individuals for this, we're just talking about these patterns of behavior that get replicated across social space and end up with these outcomes that aren't beneficial to people. I'm just anticipating this objection, like, well, no, like, actually, like, people are shitty to each other a lot of the time. It's not just because of systems, it's because, like, we're morally ambivalent beings that are sometimes good and sometimes bad, and that's kind of like part of the package deal. Like, people are cruel to each other, and people are, like, thoughtless and hurtful and all the other, like, negative aspects of humanity, and, like, just like, inserting a new system isn't gonna completely turn that around and change human nature. But we're not designing systems to make people perfect. We're attempting to design systems that will work as good as we can make them work, despite imperfect circumstances and despite imperfect people. Like, with, like, taking for granted that people are sometimes gonna fuck up or be cruel or do the wrong thing, and make it so that those things, when they happen, don't hurt people more than is absolutely minimal necessary.
a minute ago you mentioned human nature, and I just want to point out something about human nature. Is like human nature is to work together in groups for common ends and to participate in shared rule sets and expectations, which are clearly malleable. It's silly to suggest that human nature doesn't include the potentiality of that. You look at human cultures and societies, there's so much variety with them, so much creativity, and this sort of like human spark. I can't understand how anyone could talk about human nature except at least partially in terms of reverence. When people disparagingly sort of attack human nature in general, and just like
the bad things. Yeah.
Human nature is gambling and blaming people for systemic problems. It's like that's awfully specific for a nature. Let's.
We have a lot of different potentials, and like the right way to go about things is to be trying our best to encourage those potentials for good and for creativity.
Okay,
for
so.
all the wonderful things we were just talking about.
Oh, you know what I can
We need
make?
to come together, folks.
And I can make it like permanent and
Brand new 3D
9
Virtue
to
Boys,
5 volt
the
logic,
This summer,
which is
when
cool.
crime and division is at its worst, when everything is at its most dire, all of it rests on the shoulders of the
Okay,
most
so I need-
important men in the world. Who? Little us. The Virtue Boys.
Just help you put on your mask here.
Time and cape.
Oh yeah, this cape looks great on you. It's the perfect size.
Bringing your last suit.
Yes, I know. Thanks for asking.
That really completes the look.
I was going to say the same about your spiked mace.
Oh, thank you.
And it's good for breaking skulls.
To fight back against the
Something so wild and evil.
Sir, you can't create physical embodiments of all of the violent, destructive forces facing
Who
humanity.
is this assistant? And why isn't one of you firing him? He's mad.
You're the one who's mad. I'm gonna run the Virtue Boys.
Mr. Poverty, Mrs. Child Slavery. After him. After him.
Hey, not so fast.
Take that, Miss Corruption.
How about one of these right in the face?
Okay, so we got one thing.
You know, for a second there, when I was beating the physical human embodiment of cruelty to death with my bare hands, feeling his bones break underneath the power of my fists,
Yeah.
I lost myself in it. You know, it was totally like a flow state.
Yeah, I wouldn't beat humans, but these are just real embodiments of all the worst vices of society with gendered Mr., Miss, or Mrs. or Ms. titles.
Yeah, okay.
What metaphorically should be done, we're able to physically do, and just have this mook archetype who just represents poverty itself. It's like, that's something to hate. And that's something that we did in the sketch. So, on with the show. Thanks for listening.
On with the show. That was a film trailer for a movie starring us that's coming up.
What a horrible dream.
Oh, what did you dream?
I dreamed that there was a movie trailer where the Xenon group had made physical embodiments of like misanthropy and cruelty and other things that have no place in a civilized society. I'm just so glad that you slept over tonight.
That does sound scary.
It was spooky, man. In order to get back to sleep, I think I might need to listen to a relaxation tape.
There. You just lay down, don't lift a finger. I'll wheel out the cassette player.
Thank you. Oh my god, you're the best neighbor in the world.
Oh, thanks. Let's open the cassette tape case, and I'll take the cassette tape out of the case, place the cassette tape into the player, and then push the lid of the player closed.
Your narration is so relaxing, I'm not even sure if I need the tape now.
Okay, so here's my 1.2K.
Keyboard Warrior Radio Theater. Jeffrey, my boy, you look so handsome in this photograph.
Dad, I've told you how many times that I don't want you commenting on my Facebook profile pictures. The only way that we're going to remain Facebook, quote, friends is if you look but do not interact. It's embarrassing to me to have you commenting on my profile picture in public. Please stop, in all caps.
Come on, my adult son. I miss you, boy, and I'm dying. On my deathbed, I want to send a nice comment to my
I don't know how
boy.
this is gonna work.
Please, can I call you handsome in front of everyone? I'm so proud. You come for a visit. Papa misses you.
I'll come visit you, I promise. But, Dad, you've lied to me before about dying, and if you're lying again, I need you to please just be honest. Like, if you want to have a relationship with me, if you want me to visit more, A, I need you to apologize for all the times you called Teen Patrol on me when I was a kid, and B, I need you to tell the truth about whether you're dying or not at all times.
Son, I am dying. This time it's real. Okay, son, I'm not dying. I just miss my boy. And I only ever called Teen Patrol for your own good. And the strong adult son you are today is a result of many hours of Teen Patrol, which I gladly paid.
Okay, fine, Dad. Thank you for telling me the truth. I'll come see you tomorrow. Do you want me to bring some food?
Please bring extra large lasagna like last time. Daddy loves big lasagna. Also, P.S. You
I'll picture conversations, but, like, feel free to text me.
What is
friending
this?
me on Facebook, huh? Daddy knows just who to call.
Shit, what was this one?
Teen Patrol.
I'd like to pay you and your men to capture my son.
Oh, you got a problem with your teen, hey? Yeah, we can be there in a jiffy. How old is he?
41.
Ooh, well, that's a little bit out of our jurisdiction. We only take care of teens. Sorry.
He's a teen at heart.
Oh, sir, I definitely understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, a
Now
Teen Patrol...
pay for the full package.
Sorry, full package only covers teens. Call back again if you do have another teen. Maybe if you have another child and he grows into a teen.
Please help me. I'm an old man. I'm dying.
Yeah, geez, that is the pits. Maybe there's middle-age patrol. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise.
Every
Perhaps talk
patrol
to you
has a
later.
price.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that, sir. All I know is teens. So,
Leave me, boy.
okay then. Bye-bye.
Please.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's make it on here.
And join us next time for another episode of Keyboard Warrior, Father Son, Deathbed, Teen Patrol, Radio Theater. And now the Wrong Boys and the one honorable politician in Wrongtown have hacked into the Wrongtown News Network mainframe and are broadcasting a desperate plea for help.
Hello, my cousins, my brothers and sisters, my siblings, mothers, fathers across the nation, nieces, nephews, workers, typewriters, and the rest. I come to you today in an emergency broadcast to warn you that the Xenon group is not your friend. Do not allow them to pin you down, take away your emotions, take away your thoughts, and turn you into a walking zombie like them. You're a free person, and we have to rise up.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious, eh? This one's like a nice, it's like a end of the season episode. So there's all these, they're like wrapping up all these other storylines, which are really, also really funny. I really recommend it.
For all, we can do this. Xenon Group wants to take it away. They're going to deprive you of what you need, and we must rise up against them.
Sorry, I'm a bit slow on writing back.
Rising up now. As we always say
Okay,
in
so-
Wrongtown, we need to have a good birth. We need to birth a new world together. And I believe we can, friends. I bid you all good night.
Proper broadcasting restored. People around Wrongtown are rising up. It is pandemonium out there.
People are breaking branches off of trees, rioting, pillaging.
Okay.
It's not clear they understand what they're rising up against, nor what rising up
just bring
actually
this on the
means
side.
practically within military strategy.
The ideological landscape
okay.
here is incredibly confusing. You
So
have
now
the
what do I wanna
protesters
do?
who are all holding up signs saying togetherness. You have the counter-protesters holding up signs saying togetherfulness. Some of them are for Xenon Group, some of them aren't. People are very confused about what those two words even mean, why there's even any argument going on. We're
Okay,
all talking
so
about being together,
apparently,
but, there's blood in the
if you
streets,
take-
and rising up has just turned everything far, far worse than it ever was
9
before.
We
bolts
had
on
a
this
correspondent
side.
go down to Xenon Group headquarters thinking, okay, they're going to rise up, they're all going to go to Xenon
And
Group
then-
headquarters, like that's who they're rising up against. Our reporter has been there for no word of a lie 7.5 hours, not run into a single protester yet. They seem to be focused on nearby windows, patio furniture. It's unclear what this has to do with the outcome that they hope to create. Now, I mean, you heard it
let's
here
test to
first.
see if it
Rising up
works
makes no
first.
sense, and the official position of the news network is everyone should stop doing it and stop being so foolish.
Xenon Group only wants what's best for us, so
Yes.
listen to Xenon Group.
A roof collapsed at a supermarket in France.
Okay, are we back on? Okay, the news network is lying about us. Yes, there's been some tactical mistakes, and there's been windows broken, but the rioting has been severely overstated. And all the people behind this movement, the everyday people coming out to the rallies, preparing, they're the real heroes. And we're going to give the rest of the time before they take us off to all of them.
I am rising up against Xenon Group because human beings are born free, and everywhere they are in chains.
I'm rising up because ever since Grandma got her thinking cap, she keeps throwing baby food at me and calling me Melissa. It's not even my real name. She just keeps saying it.
Bumblebees?
Why am I rising up against Xenon Group? Well, let me tell you, mister, because they taught my son, my little baby boy, that the next step after throwing blocks at his sister was that little son of a gun tried to go through with it.
Hi, Ed Genius here,
Bread genius.
and we are rising up against Xenon Group.
Just like bread.
She's always quick with the bread analogy.
It's the yeast I can do.
You're killing me, you're killing me.
I've been waiting to do these jokes a whole week. I'm gonna weep my whistle with some good comic jokes.
Okay, so alright.
Sorry, I hope
I'm
that
crying
wasn't too
right now.
cornbread.
Tell them why we're rising up. Tell them why we're rising up.
We're rising up because Xenon Group have been working to crack down on artificial insemination in Wrongtown, saying
Yeah,
it's
it's
unnatural.
terrible.
Artificial insemination is a really key part of our kink, which is jealous lover sexy role play. Raising children from different biological
Really, putting a pickle. What? It's a dilly of a pickle.
listening to him talk about the new sexual heights that relationship has reached, it's getting me hot and toasty, to be honest. He really knows how to butter me up.
Oh, you kill me. You kill me with this.
I cannot tell a lie.
Control reestablished.
Breaking news story. It seems that the Peach of Chalif has called into our radio network to make a big announcement.
Oh,
Hopefully it's a
can't wait
little
to hear it.
law and order, a little strong arm.
They've been crushed and
Hunting me right now. I'm on the run for my life.
Oh, you don't say.
I just wanted to call in because we all made so many mistakes. We should have never trusted Xenon Group.
That doesn't seem right.
I'm a disgrace to the Chalif department, and this is my official resignation.
no. Why would you?
What I want everyone to know, and no amount of thinking caps or selling drugs can extinguish it if each and every one of us pulls ourselves together and then works together to build a better future.
Well, you know what? I think we're going to have to cut our friend off there because what he's saying about the Xenon Group is absolute nonsense.
They predicted steps 1 to 3.
Yeah, I mean-
what, you gonna steps 4 not gonna happen if we don't crush this right now with solutions 1 and 2?
Oh, breaking news. We've just got word that Mayor with terrorist me.
It's not what Dictator Bill would have done.
That's for sure. Oh, with all this stuff, sometimes I get the urge to stand up and sing the Dictator Bill song instead of the Xenon Group song.
You know, I've always thought both of those songs went really well together.
Do you want to sing them both at the same time right now to end the show?
Layered on top of each other.
Yeah, I think it'll go together. Do you want to do the Xenon song or the Bill song?
I'll do Dictator Bill. I miss Dictator Bill's song.
Okay. 3,
2,
1. Oh,
Xenon,
Xenon,
you're the one that I care for.
it's
All
alright.
to do.
I love Xenon. I
No
love
one's better than Dictator
I'm
Bill.
with Xenon Group.
Dictator Bill and Xenon, a combo that will ring throughout history. Oh my god, did you hear that? The mayor agreed to meet with us.
Yeah, when you said, did you hear that, I thought you were going to mention them singing, because that was really bad and horrible. Some of the most pitiful bootlicking I've ever seen in my life. Soon, at a mutually agreed secret location where everyone can guarantee that they're safe. So just beyond this fence post here, yeah.
So, Sean, I was thinking, three of us, it's going to be a lot of people talking. Do you maybe just want to hang back, let me and the honorable politician do most of the talking?
Oh, yeah, it is redundant for me to be present for this. You know what, I'm not even going to come. I trust you guys.
It would be nice to have a warm omelet waiting for us when we get home. What do you think, one honorable politician?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think we can handle this.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll go make some omelets for you guys again, but see ya.
Thanks. Everyone doing their part. Love it. It's great. Sean knows how to play to his strengths.
I will say, his omelet was pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
as long
good.
as he doesn't mix up the spoons. It's,
Yeah, the teaspoon tablespoon thing.
now just finish crossing this rickety bridge, and we're in the meeting spot.
Okay.
You know what, Aaron, I'm sort of feeling redundant too. I think I might.
Do you really think I'm ready to handle this on my own?
I think you are ready. You got all the talking points down. Like, you're one of the leaders of this revolution.
Oh, you really think so?
So
That's
that
so nice.
goes to
Okay, well, see you later. Good luck in negotiating with the mayor on this. Just go back. Let's
and then
Mayor, passively neoliberal bus driver, are you here at the meeting
this
spot?
goes to, oh no, this goes,
Yeah, I am. Here I am. You've really done something incredible to the town.
Yeah, we got a lot of people rising up. We thought it was important because I don't know if you've noticed, but Xenon Group really evil.
Well, Xenon Group's always been super nice to me.
Great analogy, actually.
apparently
Sounds
9
nice.
volts here,
I mean, I've always
and
supported
5.
They must be. And it's the same with.
Maybe it isn't.
So now I try.
What?
Now we're gonna find out if
Xenon
it's,
Group is morally bankrupt. I'm not blaming any of the individuals who work for the corporation. Some of them are victims of systems. Some of them have made immoral choices. But I'm saying that we need to break the power they have over the Wrongtown government, and that starts with you, Mr. Mayor. You are the only one who can do this for us. We need you.
How? What do I have to do?
We've prepared a list of policy suggestions formulated by the one honorable politician in Wrongtown. All you need to do is have the courage
I have a
to
vague
implement them.
idea
These
of
will
how
fix
this is gonna work.
everything, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
so what I'm gonna do
You'll do it?
I'll
is
do it.
power
I won. We
this.
both won.
We both won.
We won
We
together.
won, yeah. Seeing you mad at me.
We need to finish the battle in some kind of triumphant ending where they're vanquished and we implement all these policy suggestions. Just there,
Then
just one more step. Like, why would togetherness be bad? And the idea that kept coming up for me is this sort of dark conformity that erases individuality. I feel like togetherness could be a great slogan for a cult. Let's all get together and join the hive mind. And
Togetherness is merging your mind with the brain trust and submitting sexually to leader.
yeah, like it could go that far, or it could even just be like togetherness means in our
I my like
organization we
current
debate ideas,
lighting
and
thing,
then we all
so you can
agree
light
on one single party line, and that's democratic centralist.
you can light
ethos
you
of our
can
party, and if you deviate from
control
that
like
party
8
line,
analog
you're
LEDs.
that
I might add some more.
requires you to give up your
Just trying to
soul.
figure it out.
Yeah, like ideally, the togetherness that you want to foster would be, some common ground to a certain degree, but then within that, the
then-
flourishing of diversity, a doctrine of specific words arranged in a certain order, which is deemed to be correct. I think it's one thing to like all agree on something legitimacy or try to come to a conclusion together, but then when it starts mixing into like, also you need to say it this way, that's when it becomes like hard shadow togetherness.
Yeah.
Like there's one right way to talk about it. We all talk about it the same way. We've agreed upon it, and this is the way to speak.
Okay.
That's a way to enforce the sort of togetherness of language that we talked about earlier, like of the ability to communicate with each other. It's like, this is the language in which we speak.
I hope this works.
Is the vocabulary in which we use to describe the most key political concepts or religious concepts or other concepts for whatever type of cult we're in.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
use the
be
word
in trouble.
enforced, which is just like so crucial. Like if we're enforcing
So this is
togetherness, then it's not really togetherness. Like if you're forced to be in a marriage, it's not. It's like it to be something where you're feeling like
That doesn't seem to work at all.
social interaction, human togetherness, it has to have that like element of self-propelled desire. Like you have to want to be together. It has to come from people themselves.
I mean, within politics, I'm sort of passionate about as sort of fertile soil,
let's
like
try
a
with a
breeding
different battery.
ground of new ideas and new angles, and where people's voices are valued, and people respond to feedback, and there's a social process going on.
Yeah, it has to be a participatory thing. It can't be like a
It's just
creepy.
not.
This is this segment where we say we're against based on documents, cults bad.
Well, and key to not shadow togetherness, but the real togetherness, not together fullness, but togetherness, the thing that we need to endorse, is a sense
Shit,
of
I thought that was going to be better than it
and
was.
meaningful power to individuals
You
who
could use it with
otherwise feel excluded
power
from the outside.
adapter.
So that could be stuff like in the political realm, that could be like participatory budgeting for local city councils, where people are able to vote on how their tax dollars are spent and be invested in the process. See how much money does the government deal with? What is it being used on? More people being aware of that type of stuff will make them feel more connected to society and more invested in solving these problems. And another thing that I've seen suggested that I really love is long-form voting, like long-form referendums. So like a space in between once every 4 years voting and direct democracy on everything is that you have long-form.
This is 9 volts, but it's way, it's totally not
answering like a lot of questions. Anything that you're comfortable answering that you want to weigh in on.
Well,
Right.
This is just within the current context we are like. I don't want to say that we should not imagine those things, but
right.
These are just ideas that resonated with me, and specifically being connected to togetherness, where togetherness is about democratizing. It's about opening up the door, opening up spaces for people to have legitimate power and feel connected to the totality.
In society is to create like an active forum for civic engagement that has meaningful effects on the way that society operates, that anyone who cares to can participate in deciding the course of society. I think that's a key difference between like a kind of enforced weird shadow togetherness and a participatory, voluntary, enthusiasm-based togetherness where people are able to put their energies towards fulfilling those goals.
We now return to the Wrong Boys, preparing to take on the Xenon Group in a triumphant final battle on behalf of everyone around the world. Together.
Oh, Sean, I'm getting really nervous.
I'm not sure we can do it. I don't believe
we've never faced anything this giant before, but let's go over the plan one more time. It's a good plan. I think it'll work. First, we need the Mall Sam Harris's Union. In Wrongtown, we don't really do the Mall Santa thing. We're more rational than that, so we got Mall Sam Harris's, and they tell the kids whether they've been objectively moral or not. So we convince them to take part in the final demonstration at Xenon headquarters.
That didn't really work out. I think I'm gonna end the stream there, though. Thanks for hanging out for this really weird stream. And
final strike against them, on behalf of everyone, everywhere, together.
Yeah, hopefully next time will be music.
Do things like this without thinking them through very carefully. How do I know that this fever about Xenon Group hasn't been cooked up by college kids?
Okay, well, I mean, look at it this